The sea is a vast, empty place. It is the ultimate burial ground, holding the secrets of 3 million wrecks. But of all the mysteries the ocean keeps, perhaps the most chilling isn't a shipwreck at all. It's a ship that was perfectly fine. A ship where the only thing missing was the life inside.
The Greyhound Stories.
This isn't a story of a ship sinking in a hurricane or being struck by an iceberg. This is the story of a merchant vessel found drifting in the Straits of Malacca, where every single man on board, from the captain to the cook, was dead. Their bodies were found scattered across the deck, their final expressions frozen in a horrific, silent scream. The only clue? A series of desperate, fragmented Morse code messages received by nearby ships. From Ourang Medan, we are floating. All officers, including captain, dead, in chartroom and bridge. Probably whole crew dead. And then one final cryptic, terrifying word. I die. The distress signal cut out. The man sending it was gone. What follows is our search for the truth of what killed a full crew in a matter of seconds, and why the ultimate cause of death for every single person appeared to be pure terror.
The search and discovery.
The year was around 1947. The exact date remains murky, a detail swallowed by wartime record chaos and a general lack of documentation in the remote Straits of Malacca. The SOS was picked up by several vessels, most notably the American merchant ship, the Silver Star. Captain of the Silver Star immediately changed course. It took several tense hours of racing the coordinates before they spotted the Dutch freighter. The Ourang Medan looked sound. No fires, no list, no obvious damage. It was simply drifting, silent, and ominously dark. The rescue party boarded, expecting to find an injured or incapacitated crew. What they found instantly changed their mission from rescue to horror. The air temperature was normal, but below deck, the boarding party reported a profound, oppressive chill. The first body they found was the radio operator. He was still seated at his key, his fingers resting on the telegraph, his eyes wide, fixed on the ceiling. His face, and the faces of every single man that followed, was contorted into a mask of unimaginable dread. On the bridge, they found the captain, dead, his eyes wide open, one hand pointed and rigid toward the sun. Bodies were found on the deck, in the passageways, and in the chart room. Even the ship's dog was found, its lips pulled back from its teeth in a final, savage snarl. Crucially, there were no visible wounds, no sign of struggle, no blood, no evidence of a physical fight or attack. It looked as if every single man had died at the exact same moment. The rescuers had to move fast. They checked the hold, looking for the source of the killer. The cargo manifest listed general freight, but the team reported a faint smell, a metallic, acrid odor that stung the nostrils even in the open air. This smell seemed to be strongest around the ship's massive hold. The decision was made to tow the Ourang Medan back to port. But the ship had one final, fatal secret to unleash. As the Silver Star prepared the tow lines, a sudden, dense plume of smoke began to billow from the cargo hold. The boarding party immediately retreated. Before they could get 100 yards away, the Ourang Medan was rocked by a massive explosion. It rose high in the water, cracked in two, and sank almost instantly, disappearing into the depths of the Malacca Strait. In a terrifying flash, the ship, the crew, the bodies, and the one true piece of physical evidence, the cause of death, were all gone. All that remained was the chilling memory of the crew's faces and a vague record of the SOS. The only thing we have left are the theories.
Theory 1. The chemical weapon cover-up.
The first and most popular theory dives deep into the post-World War II chaos and the grim world of illegal cargo. This theory suggests the Ourang Medan wasn't carrying general freight, it was carrying chemical weapons. Remember, this happened immediately following World War II. During the war, nations like Japan and Germany had stockpiled huge amounts of nerve agents and chemical weapons. After the surrender, many of these deadly stockpiles were quietly shipped out of the country, often by illicit means, to be destroyed or hidden. The Ourang Medan, a small, nondescript Dutch freighter, would have been the perfect, inconspicuous vessel for this kind of deadly smuggling operation. The theory goes like this. In its hold, the Ourang Medan was transporting highly toxic substances, perhaps nerve agents like sarin or tabun, or even a massive quantity of highly volatile chemicals like potassium cyanide or nitroglycerin. These substances are odorless and colorless, but one thing is certain. They kill almost instantaneously by causing asphyxiation and mass neurological failure. If a barrel leaked, or if water got into the hold and reacted with the chemicals, creating a vast, poisonous vapor cloud, that cloud would have spread through the ship's ventilation system at the speed of air. The captain, the radio operator, and the crew, all exposed at the same instant, would have felt the immediate, overwhelming panic of not being able to breathe. This isn't just a physical death, it's a terrifying psychological one. The panic of a nerve agent seizure, the violent struggle for a single breath, is known to contort the face into the exact expression of horror described by the Silver Star's boarding party. They weren't just dead, they were caught in the final spasm of chemical trauma. And what about the explosion that destroyed the evidence? Most of these chemicals, especially those used in explosives or chemical agents, are highly unstable and react violently with water. The moment the Silver Star tied up, they might have subtly changed the ship's balance, allowing more seawater to trickle into the hold. The metallic, acrid smell reported by the rescue crew, that could have been the final, toxic chemical reaction beginning to take hold, the precursor to the violent, ship-shattering explosion that immediately followed. It's a neat, terrifying theory that explains every single clue. The terror-stricken faces, the simultaneous death, the acrid smell, and the instantaneous explosion. It's an illegal cargo cover-up, written in death.
Theory 2. A natural phenomena.
But what if the killer wasn't man-made? What if it was the ocean itself? The next theory is perhaps the most frightening, because it confirms the primal fear of every sailor, that nature can turn on you in an instant, without warning. This theory suggests the Ourang Medan was a victim of a geological or environmental event. We are talking about the possibility of a methane bubble, or a massive natural release of deadly gas. The Straits of Malacca, where the ship was found, is an area known for having methane deposits trapped beneath the seabed. Methane, or swamp gas, is naturally released from underwater seismic activity. It's generally harmless until it accumulates. If a large bubble of methane gas were to rapidly break free from the ocean floor, it would rush up through the water column and burst at the surface. When it hits the surface, this burst of gas would create a pocket of air with virtually zero oxygen content. If the Ourang Medan happened to sail directly into the heart of this cloud, the ship's ventilation system would have instantly sucked in the lethal, oxygen-free atmosphere. A crew breathing this would suffer almost immediate asphyxiation and total organ failure. This explains the instantaneous death and the lack of physical wounds. It also explains the extreme panic. The final moments of anoxia, the lack of oxygen to the brain, are often characterized by confusion, violent spasms, and an overwhelming, animalistic sense of terror. The faces frozen in horror would be the final, visible manifestation of the brain shutting down while screaming for air. But there's another, more plausible natural event, a volcanic plume. The area is tectonically active. An underwater volcanic vent could have released a massive plume of hydrogen sulfide or sulfur dioxide gas. Hydrogen sulfide is deadly, and in high concentrations it kills so fast it actually deadens the olfactory nerve, meaning you literally cannot smell it before it takes your life. This explains the suddenness. The gas would be heavier than air, settling on the deck and in the lower compartments, killing anyone exposed. And what about the final dramatic explosion? Both methane and hydrogen sulfide are highly flammable. The pilot light in the galley, the spark from a boiler, any small source of ignition could have touched off the massive gas pocket trapped inside the ship's hold, tearing the vessel apart. The ocean, not a person or a bomb, was the killer. The first two theories offer scientific explanations for a terrifying event. But there is a third theory that challenges the entire premise. Was the Ourang Medan a real ship at all? Or is it simply a compelling, terrifying maritime myth? A fish story so good it eventually got written down as fact. The story of the Ourang Medan first appeared in a 1948 issue of the Proceedings of the Merchant Marine Council, published by the U.S. Coast Guard. This is what gives it its veneer of truth. But historians and researchers have spent decades trying to track down the original source, the official manifest, the Silver Star's logbooks, the crew lists, and they all seem to hit a wall. No registered ship named Ourang Medan, which translates to Man from Medan, appears in Lloyd's Register or any other major naval registry for that period. The American ship, the Silver Star, is real, but its official logs make no mention of the rescue attempt. Many researchers believe the story originated from a German pamphlet in the 1940s, written by a man named Silvio Shirley, which was then sensationalized and reprinted across various newspapers and maritime journals. If this is true, why did this tale become so instantly popular, and why has it persisted for over 75 years? It's because it's a perfect distillation of the sailors' primal fears. Every man who stepped onto a ship knew they faced 1,000 ways to die: storms, famine, disease, fire. But the idea of an unseen, instant, all-consuming force, a ghost or a curse that strikes with no warning, that is the ultimate maritime terror. The Ourang Medan is the Flying Dutchman for the modern technological age. The story works because it's a cautionary tale. Be careful what you carry in your cargo, and be careful of the deep, volatile secrets of the ocean floor. But what if we combine the theories? What if a real, minor maritime incident, a small fire, a gas leak, a minor poisoning, was experienced by a real ship? And when that story was passed around the docks and harbors, it was exaggerated and embellished by sailors until it became the legend that a German writer eventually committed to paper. The truth of the Ourang Medan may not be a single event, but a perfect fusion of a small, real tragedy and the boundless, terrifying imagination of the sea.
The conclusion.
Whether it was an illegal chemical shipment, an erupting methane deposit, or the perfect storm of a legend that just sounded too real, the Ourang Medan gives us a window into a singular kind of horror. It reminds us that the vastness of the ocean is not a welcoming expanse. It's an environment constantly trying to kill you. And it reminds us that the most terrifying death isn't the one you see coming, but the one you never have a chance to fight. For your final moment, will you die fighting the waves, or will you die with the unblinking, wide-eyed terror of the men who gave the Ourang Medan its terrible legacy? The ship may be at the bottom of the ocean, but the story keeps sailing.